Welcome to, no, it's not snowy Switzerland. This is Spain, near Barcelona, and the weather really is shit today. And that's really a pain in the back because today we have the opportunity to drive the new Mercedes CLS for the very first time. This car was introduced by Mercedes 2004 for the first time. This now is the third model, and since the first, they sold more than 375,000 units worldwide. But today we're going to drive that car, and it is the AMG, so the top version, and I'm going to tell you what makes that car so special to me. Because of these bad weather conditions, I have to be honest with you, I have absolutely no interest in running around the car explaining you the exterior design, but we were lucky because we did something in advantage with Gordon Wagoner, so the chief designer of Mercedes-Benz, and I think he can tell you about that car a lot better than I can.
That car is the first true designer's car. The first generation was the first time when designers were allowed to actually do a car looking like a design sketch, with a very small greenhouse, low roof of course, nice flowing silhouette, high belt line, big wheels pushed into the body, and that concept was so successful that of course now we are seeing four-door coupes all over the place from all manufacturers in all different classes, but still CLS is the true original. And so we kept this responsibility, and we kept the DNA of the first CLS, which is basically about this super extreme flowy silhouette, and we just clean it up. If we like it, we take a line off. If we still like it, we take another line off. And as you see, there's no line left, which is the next level in our design philosophy of sensual purity. And basically what we do is we sculpture the whole thing with light and shadow with this nice bone line, is what we call it. To do that, to reduce the lines, it's very crucial to have great proportions, because proportion is everything in design. And this car has a typical Mercedes proportion, very sporty, very long dash to axle here from the first cut line to the wheel. That means the car has a long hood, has this extreme fast windshield flowing into that enormous hood and down to that upright negative tilting grille, what we call the shark nose, like a shark, negative, even more aggressive. Shark is a good example. We call that our predator face, as it is so aggressive and progressive with this triangular headlamps with the day running light signature here, making that car very aggressive and make it a predator on the street. Especially in combination with what we call our Panamera grille, our racing grille, tilted negative. In this case here, with the AMG kit combined with a diamond insert in the purebred AMG, you get the pure Panamera with the vertical bars. Here it works nicely with the AMG A-frame here in the lower body with these fins. So overall, it's a very progressive, very aggressive combination here. So here we are welcome in the most progressive, most sportiest and most avant-garde interior we're having. With that black in contrast to the pearl white on the exterior, we're having that pure black interior here with this open black wood wrapping around. This interior is like a glove. It's a very sporty thing with this driver-oriented cockpit, with this racing steering wheel here, with the flat section on the bottom, very tight with all the functions here onto the steering wheel. And in fact, as a tribute to the US now, we're having the cruise control on the steering wheel, so you can easily manage all distance pilot functions here right from the steering wheel. Of course, you have shift pedals, but you also have touch pads here, one for the left side and the other one for the right side here, for the right screen. Let me boot that up. And so you can operate these screens here directly while driving. The screen is bonded in 2 times 12-inch displays, and it has that sharp corner here on the side. And in contrast to this new digital world, to the new operating system which runs onto that screens, the latest at Mercedes, we're having something we call hyper analog. It's like a chrono watch, and it fulfills basically mechanical demands, and it's kind of more sustainable luxury, and we call that our jet exhaust vents. And they're basically like from a jet fighter, and in fact they turn red when they heat and they turn blue when they cool down. So that's a very cool feature in that avant-gardistic interior. And as you can see, even though that car from the exterior was so radical, so low, inside you have a lot of head clearance, you have a lot of room also in the rear. So with that, let me show you the rear of the car. Coming to the rear, this is almost the nicest part of the vehicle, as it is really embodying our essential purity philosophy, something that is really cool and something that is really hard. And these shoulders make that car really hard. They make it create a big stance onto the street. We have a narrow greenhouse, small greenhouse with this extreme proportion from the rear screen, and otherwise we keep that rear super clean. We combine that with very cool progressive graphics similar to the front end, to our Predator face here. We're having triangular rear lamps here with that three-dimensional glass piece illuminated and basically showcasing the next level in technology. We put the license plate in the rear bumper that allows us to present the star very nicely onto this full and clean surface, and make that car the next design icon in the next generation for the next decade.
The interior of our Mercedes CLS AMG is, of course, absolutely nice and beautiful. What I really like with the interior, beside these two big screens here at the front with a glass panel on top, is on one hand you can really configure them the way you want, and they give you loads of very nice informations. And another thing is the seats are absolutely great. They give great support. You sit really deeply in the car, which I really like. And on the other hand, they're really very comfortable. Very important is, if you're a tall person, you have to take a seat in the car with this glass roof mounted, because that really reduces the height here inside of the car about, I would say, 2 to 3 centimeters. So that gives me, for instance, not enough space to really sit upright the way I want. But just try it out and maybe it works for you. And another thing which I do not like so much is, because of the shape of the car, we do have this big A-pillar here, and that is combined with the rear view mirror mounted outside on the door. And that gives me, when I drive left curves or left turns, a black spot here, which I don't like a lot. But maybe if you're a bit smaller, you have a different seating position, that maybe completely changes. But if you want to buy the car, and if you're a tall person, you have to try that out first. But the rest of the car, I really have to say, craftsmanship, materials, everything the way a Mercedes should be. For the new CLS, Mercedes developed a complete new range of powertrains, and next to me is Jochen Tirok. Jochen knows a lot more about the engine than I do. Jochen, what will come first with the CLS?
Okay, first in CLS we will see the brand new diesel 3-liter 6-cylinder engine with 286 horsepower in one configuration and 340 horsepower in the second configuration.
How about petrol?
That's a diesel. That's a diesel, and we have petrol engines, a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder, brand new in our basket as well.
So what about the 4-cylinder? There is something brand new and a lot of technology. Can we have a closer look?
Yeah. Let's go.
This here is the brand new 4-cylinder 2-liter petrol engine, and there's loads of new technology in it. Jochen, what in detail does Mercedes develop to make that system work?
Yeah, we have here our called M264 4-cylinder inline petrol engine. We have here a power output of 220 kilowatts, what means 306 horsepower from a 2-liter engine. Yeah, in former times that were motor racing values. Today we have it in a production car. Our 48 volt belt starter generator. You see it here or from here. There we have a 12 kilowatt electric motor, which we can use for charging or for boosting, so in both directions. That in combination with a 48 volt electrical system, gains again fuel consumption and driving comfort.
So let's talk about the bigger one, because I'm lucky, I drive the AMG at the moment.
Okay, let's go over.
Now we're here at the heart of the new AMG 53 model range, and I've just a question. This looks like loads of technology. What makes this new six-cylinder so special?
It doesn't only look like, it has a lot of technology. I tell you some. Here we have the 16 kilowatt integrated starter generator. What means we have no belt drive in between, so it's directly bolted onto inside the bell housing onto the crankshaft, with the advantage with direct drive onto the drivetrain without any belt in between, and it has 16 kilowatt power instead of 12 kilowatt as a four-cylinder. So the next one, we have here a twin scroll turbo system as well, but in addition we have an electrical booster where when you normally have your turbo lag in lower RPMs, the booster boosts and you have full turbo power output in low RPM without any lag anymore. So that contains the booster and it needs a 48 volt electrical system. One special here, we have no belt anymore. You don't see any belt. It's a beltless engine. So you have the air condition system with a 48 volt motor, and as well the water pump is 48 volt electric driven, what means you drive these units only when you need it and not when the engine is running. Yeah.
Great. So that's a lot of technology to give the car the extra kick, but very important for all of you who love 8-cylinder engines. There will be, for sure, an 8-cylinder version for the AMG as well, quite soon. Let's talk about the drive of the car. I really have to say it's an absolute pleasure to drive that first. And when you drive this AMG version, we're talking about 435 horsepower plus 22 with a boost system. And that really gives you a lot of power you can play with. On top of this, we do have different drive modes, as we know from the Mercedes models. And if you want to drive easily and just have a nice day on the road, you can drive that car very smoothly in it. But if you change into Sport or Sport Plus, that really changes a lot. So the car really gets a beast, but still a Mercedes. And what I really like is we have a very nice sound inside of this car. It's a bit like an 8-cylinder, even though we only have 6. It's a very nice, soft sound that's not as aggressive as a real sports car, but still something that provides you with power in your ears. And what I like with the driving is the suspension really does a great job. So you can really choose between very comfortable or very crispy. And this is the same with the gearbox. We have the 9-speed gearbox here, and that really makes a perfect job. There is the same. You can really say, I want a smooth drive, and the gear shift, you really will even not recognize them, or you can have really crisp and hard, and that really gives you a sports car feeling. But overall, I have to say, with this Mercedes-Benz, you have a very nice combination out of luxury and a lot of sportiness. That was our review here from Barcelona, sadly with really poor weather. But we had the CLS, the brand new AMG version. I can tell you, it's great fun driving. We're talking about 435 horsepower and another 22 horsepower as a kick with a boost. And what I really have to say regarding to the drive, with this electrical compressor, that car really had no lack of the turbo. It's really an absolute pleasure driving it. Of course, I have to tell you, I like the design a lot. This new design language of Mercedes really fits that car absolutely perfectly, gives it an absolute solid stand, really aggressive from the front. I really love that. And I have to say, that car is a coupe with 4 doors for 5 people. It's great fun to drive, absolutely comfortable. Of course, it got its price, but if you want something like it, that's absolutely worth it.